Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our Silent Hill 3 20th anniversary special. We are showcasing games from the speedruns from the Silent Hill series, and we've got Silent Hill 3 New Game True Glitchless coming up for you. Just before we get into that, real quick reminder, if you're over on YouTube watching, be sure to press the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, you can go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content. It starts weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. That said, I'll hand it over to the runner and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. I'm Abby's Corner, or as I usually go by, Abby, because that's my name. My apologies in advance. I have been sick for the last 2 weeks, so sorry if I sound weird for these runs coming up. Also, I have with me Tekkie, who you may have been hearing for the last 2 hours. Super appreciate that he's joining me for comms.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Back at Silent Hill 3.
Yeah. So, in just a moment, we will get into the run. So 3, 2, 1, let us begin the run. So this is one of the newer categories on the board. I think it's a little under 2 months old at this point. Very similar to no QSQL, minus the fact that we don't do two things. So it is a bit of a weird one. But we're gonna go get hit in the face a lot, because this guy likes to just decide whatever he wants to do. It's complete
Sock
RNG.
and poppers.
All right.
Yeah, this is the dream sequence, so you have to die to finish it. The problem is you're on easy mode, so you have a lot of health, and you can't just run off an edge and die.
Yeah.
So,
it's a fun
it's kind
time.
of wild. Yeah, it's kind of wild how much has gone into trying to figure out the quickest way to end this little section, like how to get this guy to do the most damage. You know, all the weird little positioning stuff.
Yes. Also, just a fun little fact here is I'm using the unoptimal controls as I play on 2D controls, because 3D controls kind of give me motion sickness. I don't know why. So movement's going to be a little different from what you saw from Tekkie earlier. Also, you know, less enemies and whatnot on screen as well. So it's not going to be the exact same run. So yeah, that's going to be fun.
I have never seen someone run this with these movement controls before, so I am here for it.
All right. Yeah. If you saw my actual controls, you'd be like, what is this eldritch horror of control scheme? Because I'm also playing on PC, and for whatever reason, the PC controls on controller are really weird. Like, for example, pausing is L3, Menu is R3, and it's like, oh, okay. Because the game doesn't like it when you try to change the controls, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then Joy to Key is like, no. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just work with what you give me. And this is the result. So here we're just running past some numb bodies, which I call raptors. By the way, I give all the enemies weird names because I didn't know what their names were, so I just called them what I thought they looked like. So that's a thing.
Oh no, that's a huge mood. Oh, they all have pretty abstract names. I just call them dinosaurs.
So 5209 is our code. So yeah, I call like pendulums bees. I used to call closers Nintendo 64s because they look like early like N64 polygon characters to me. And then like somebody was like, so how goes your closers? And I'm like, what's a closer? And then they were like, and then I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Okay. And I think I gave them a long diatribe like description of how my runs were going, and they were like, oh. And then I was like, so I just call them closers now to not be super confusing. Also, Heather can't see in the dark, so that's why we need the flashlight. It's kind of a thing between her and James from Silent Hill 2. They need the flashlight to see certain things, whereas Travis from Silent Hill Origins has been eating those super carrots and doesn't need light to see anything.
Yeah, you can play the entire game in the dark.
Yeah, it's great. And then those are the only 3 Silent Hill games I run at the moment, though I could be starting Shattered Memories very soon. Very, very soon. Because who doesn't love a little torture in their speedruns? So now that we've grabbed the coat hanger, we can now go to the upper level. And yay, I didn't get sandwiched by those two. Back in the
those
early
guys are pretty
days,
close.
yeah, they like to sandwich you against a wall a lot, and it's like, oh, fantastic. There we go.
Yeah, when they line up like across the hallway like that.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous, to say the least. I'm trying to think if any enemies give me... No, dogs in Subway still kind of super pain, because you never know what they're going to do. Grab the key. And head downstairs. But yeah, I started running this game a little over a year ago. Is when I started, and it took quite a while for me to get it working because the PC versions of the Silent Hill games can be a little finicky when it comes to trying to play them on modern hardware. It is a shame, but I eventually got it working with some help, and then just kind of went very, very hard into runs. I think I've put over 750 hours into running this game at this point. I've tried doing 3D control runs, and oh wow, am I bad at it. So I'll just stick to 2D controls. So there's our
if it works, it
bees.
works.
Also, fun fact, not only is it Silent Hill 3's 20th anniversary, it's also my 2nd anniversary as a speedrunner today. So that's kind of funny. I totally glossed over it until like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, these are happening on the same day. Whoops. By the way, shoutouts to Schmumbler for letting me know about this, because that's how I found out about it. He just tagged me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign up for this. But yeah, we're almost done with them all now, and it's gonna be good. Splitworm's a little fun. I do what I call dancing with worms. It is the dumbest thing ever, but hey, if it works, it works. And luckily the dog was still eating, because dog not eating can be a bit of a pain, because Heather likes to auto-aim, and depending how quickly you're pressing auto-aim, it looks like she's trying to dance. So I call it DDRing, because, you know, what teenager wasn't at a mall playing DDR back in 2003?
It's a fair point.
All right, here we go. Boss fight begins. So basically, I just move while shooting 3, 4, 5, 6 to get him to not run away. I don't know why that works for me, but it works. I'm just like, okay, he won't run away so long as I'm moving the entire time. If it works, it works. So now we're on to the subway, which is the shortest section in the game. And we won't see a boss till about Hilltop. So it's kind of very chill-ish. Like I said, there's not a lot of differences between no QSQL and true glitchless, minus like 2 things that are until like late game. Also Minmo. Who doesn't love a good cat food mascot, right?
Yeah, it's Minmo's anniversary too.
Yeah. So again, I don't move the camera either, because on 2D controls, moving the camera gets a little wonky. So it's like, oh.
Yeah.
So I just kind of let the camera do its thing and work with the camera instead of against it. Also, if there's any horror movie fans, there's actually a small movie reference in the subway. I don't know if you'll catch it or not. So just running here. Dogs are calm right now. One of them spawns in after I grab this, so that'll be interesting to see where it's placed. I've been hit up the stairs and down the stairs many times, and it's kind of really funny. Because I don't know if it causes any time loss whatsoever, because they're literally just hitting you into the next area, and it's like, does that count? Question mark. There we go. I remember when HD Collection came out and I was so excited for it because I didn't grow up with the Silent Hill games. Never picked it up. Turns out I dodged a bullet, even though I do speedrun the HD Collection as well. And word of advice to everyone, do not speedrun UFO HD Collection. Don't put yourself through that torture. It's a really bad time. Like a really bad time. So there we go.
Is there anything specific to HD Collection that makes that bad? Because at least you skip the overworld where I think it crashes more often.
Enemies take a lot longer to die, to the point where you actually need to transform to Princess Heart in order to kill enemies. By the way, there's that movie reference I was talking about earlier. Like, I think it takes a good 6 seconds for an enemy to die as Princess Heart. I don't even think you can kill enemies in less than 30 seconds, just as Heather, using Heather Beam.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So now we're going to count these garbage cans. There are 3 of them in total. Once we're past the 3rd one, we can head towards the stairs. Again,
yeah, I wasn't sure if was the trash can the movie reference, the statue trash. I wasn't sure.
No, it's the destination sign right there in red. It's a reference to Jacob's Ladder from 1999, or not 99, 1990. There's also a bit of like Twin Peaks in here because like Akira Yamaoka was like inspired by Angelo Badalamenti. So there's like all kinds of like horror movie references and things like that throughout the series, and it's like, huh, all right then. And luckily we didn't get hit there. Depending how you get hit, it's like
that was
points.
close.
It's if they hit you with your head and you're still standing, that's 0.7 seconds of time loss. If they knock you down, it's 4. And it's like, oh, lovely.
Yeah, even on easy mode, it happens.
Oh, yes. I think I had quite a few practice runs where it was just like, please get hit with the most damaging time loss. And it's like, how about no? So now we're in the shortest section, which is the sewers. Again, I don't know how a 17-year-old knows her way around the sewers, but she does. It's never explained how she knows her way through this. So, yeah. So we're going to run into lots of bees. For me, anyway, they are so much scarier when they're walking than when they are flying. And it's like, please don't hit me. Thank you.
Yeah, their ground attacks actually like super quick. I think it's reasonable. It's got like a hitbox that starts before the animation comes out, I think.
Whoops, made a wrong turn there. By the way, that giant
camera
raptor there can cause you like 8 seconds of time loss, because if he hits you, he's generally doing the knockdown, and he has 2 opportunities to do that knockdown.
Oh.
I've never had it to where he does double knockdown. Usually it's one or the other, but I assume it's quite possible that he could hit you twice.
Yeah, his big tackle hitbox is absurd. Like this, there's a lot that's super well done in this game, but the hitboxes have some problems.
Yeah. And then we're going to see a sort of long, just black screen. This screen does not exist in HD collection, but it does exist in PS2, only it does, like, there's at least an animation there. I'm not sure why PC still has it, because I would assume it's related to what hard drive you have it installed on, and I have it installed on an NVMe, but it's still there. So it's like, I don't know.
One of those weird ones where it's not loading anything, it's just waiting for like a background sound effects to finish playing before it loads the next room. There's that one in church that I'm thinking of that always does that. It's a weird little gimmick of the programming.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the short turn from the raptor, and I'm like, oh, well, isn't that just sad? I don't really think it saves a ton of time. It's just more of a convenience sake, because it's like, yay, I can move. One thing of note, don't try to move Heather when she's running across that on 2D controls, because that angle just makes her go kind of a little wild, and it's like, please no. Also, falling in the water here is another 4-second time loss. So do be careful. She's a little hard to control sometimes, so that's why I'm kind of like wobbling back and forth, because she's just gonna want to try to go for a swim, and it's like, no, please. And another thing on 2D controls, I do these things called bounces. They're not really bouncing, but I'm using things as reference for when I start turning. So I call that dryer bounce, as I'm kind of turning the second I pass the garbage can thing. So it almost looks like she's bouncing off of it to grab the dryer, and then we just leave. Because, again, 2D controls adds an extra challenge to the run. It's not like Silent Hill 2, where like 2D controls is the optimal control scheme. So there's like just some things that I had to like adapt to try to at least try to be good and competitive with the rest of everybody. But yeah, again, letting the camera just do what it wants and just working with it is what I'm trying to do. I can kind of do it to where I can move it now, but it's still just like, I don't really see a point in trying to move the camera, because it's just been so long that I just work with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's probably really similar to Origins then, right? With the controls and you're fighting the camera all the time.
Yeah. another weird thing about the camera is when you're walking down off the stairs there, it acts like how the camera is when you're going across those little bridges. I don't know why, because the camera's literally just behind Heather, but she will act like that. So you want to wait till you're on the stairs before moving again. And there we go. Now, funny thing, there's a sound that's going to pop up here in a second, and it used to scare the crap out of me every time I would get to this part, because I'm just like, what was that? Where is it coming from? What is the thing that dropped it? And there's that sound. Now it's just like, yeah, it's nothing. But like, when I started to run, it was like, what was that? Oh no. So we're just working our way to the 5th floor now to just get through things. One thing here is while this loading screen is going, I actually have my thumb down on the analog stick to the bottom right to get the turn to go properly. Anytime there's an extended screen, I'm usually just getting my thumb into position to be able to make a turn or something like that, since I have the time just sitting there. So the long screens kind of help, but there's not too many of them. And now we're going to perform rope bounce, which is the hardest bounce out of the 3 that I do, and also the last one that I developed. Because I always had trouble grabbing the rope, and so I was like, is there a way I can make it easier? And it turns out that if I start turning at around the chair, the like, I don't know what you would call them, but like the comfy couch looking chair, it's like, okay, I can make that turn a bit better, because trying to grab that rope can be such a pain sometimes. And then we're about to say... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, rope bounce is a great name, too. It sounds like a wrestling move.
And then we're about to say goodbye to raptors forever. Those are the last 2 that we will see in the run. So I hope nobody is a fan of them, because they're gone forever now.
Oh, I never thought of that. Huh.
Yeah. So we only run into... I forget what the big guys are called, because I usually just call them the big guys, and then we've got pendulums and closers, as well as nurses, but nurses are only in the hospital, unlike Silent Hill 2, where they're everywhere. And even in Origins, they're in the game longer than they are in 3. Also, fun fact, we're not even in Silent Hill yet. Silent Hill 3, for about half the game, takes place outside of the town. So there we go. We have entered Hell via clean bathtub. So that's a thing. And of course, we have everybody's favorite, because of course, who doesn't love slurpers? And we've met Vincent, who is the biggest jerk in the game. Possibly the franchise. I don't know what the community's opinion is on that, but he is a jerk. Also, we're coming up to the hallway that runners say is the worst. However, I disagree with that, with this hallway coming up being the worst, because for me, there is a hallway so much worse. Grab the shotgun shells, and of course, grab the meat.
Pork liver, I think.
Yep, it is, and I didn't even know you could eat pork liver. I was like, wait, you can eat pork liver? What? I mean, granted, liver in general is gross, so yeah.
Heather sees it and just, I'll take this with me.
Yep, along with some matches. There's no rhyme or reason why she's just picking up these objects. She doesn't know what she needs them for. And then it turns out, oh, we're going to use them to discover a door. Fun fact, don't go straight to the bucket, because you would think that's what you want to do, but no, the game will be like, what are you doing? You want to be beside the bucket. You can even be a little bit further away from the bucket and it still works. So this is often considered the worst hallway in the game. Oh, how lovely. They just totally ignored me.
Yeah, that was good.
I usually don't get ignored like that, but I will take it. Also, there's a lot less of them on easy. Beginner
when they're sorry, I was just gonna say when they're running like parallel to the wall like that, it's great. They're just as out of the way as they can be.
Yeah. This room was also a pain to get down in the beginning because the camera really likes to spin. And so it's like, okay, gotta do quite a bit of practice because it's like...
Oh, that auto aim looked like it was trying to point you at the dog, and that would have been a problem.
Oh yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Now that we have the life insurance key, we can go talk to the things. Oh, hello.
Those hitboxes also suck a lot.
Yeah. Fun fact, if you accidentally go the opposite direction, they will just go straight for the meat. And it's like, oh, okay. So if you were starting the run, you could be like, well, I don't feel comfortable trying to take them head on. So you could literally start going in that direction that I'm going currently, and they'll just go for the meat. Also, one thing that I didn't know is that if you turn off the flashlight here, she'll ignore the book on the ground. I didn't know that for the longest time. So, like, if I was mashing there, I'd be like, oh no, she's reading the book. And I didn't realize that the IGT will pause if she's reading the book, but I would always get so mad if she was reading the book.
Yeah, it throws off your groove.
Yeah. This is also another hallway that used to cause so much issue because of the way the camera behaves. Like, Heather would just literally spin in a circle forever. And it's like, oh. And now it's time for everybody's favorite boss. Not quite the worst one in the game, but he can be... Oh, wait, I didn't do something because I have to go down here and equip this for a very important reason later on. Actually, it's not really that... Oh, of course I got him running. Come on. Yeah, he likes to meme on you and run. Sometimes he'll straight up clothesline you, and that's always fun. You want to wait a second until after he does his head bobble before hitting him because he still has iframes. So that's a little trick that kind of takes a wee bit of time to figure out because, again, you can shoot him directly after, but it's not going to do anything. So here we go.
It's that tiny gap where he gets up and he's still invincible, and then there's this tiny window where you can shoot him before he starts running.
Yeah.
It's
also,
so hard to time that.
Cutscene, Douglas talks about James from Silent Hill 2. They are all sequels to each other, even though Silent Hill 2 is kind of indirect and doesn't mention Harry or the cult or anything. But after James disappears, Douglas was sent to go find him, but never did. So now we're just running through Silent Hill. If you ever need a helpful guide for what you're supposed to do, there's a couple landmarks such as the red car and the white van back there. Once you see the ice cream truck and you're past it, you heal to keep Heather's speed. And then there's going to be 2 more cars coming up here. And then once you're past those, keep going forward. However, you don't want to fully go straight here to the right because there's a little thing right there she'll get caught on. Now you can start running against the fence, and once you see the 2 red signs, which do exist in Silent Hill 2, by the way, you're basically at the hospital entrance. The hospital also has a similar layout as well.
You heard what those signs say, right?
No.
They say permit parking only.
Oh.
They kept the typo between 2 and 3.
Oh, nice.
That a permit parking.
And then we go this way. Getting into this room in Silent Hill 2 causes me so many issues because I'm like, I don't remember that it's there because of the way we get to this floor in Silent Hill 2. Of course, we switched to the mouse specifically for this because the hitbox on this is so small it's like, it's a nightmare on controller. So that's the one thing that I will switch to mouse to. And then we go to M4. Apparently, a lot of runners can see the clock time by zooming in. I am not good enough for that, so I don't do that. So we got 4:45, and now we have the camera to go see the other code for floor 3. The code is always the same for floor 2, depending on your difficulty. So in easy, it's always 4639. I don't know the other difficulties to save my life, because I don't think I've ever played this game on normal or hard.
They are different. It's 4896, I think.
Okay. And then we go to C4 to see the world's most amazing art piece not in a museum.
Santa Claus.
Yes, and a teddy bear. So we're going to re-equip our weapon and then rip the key. Also, for whatever reason, the game likes to switch you back to pistol a lot. I don't know why that is. It just is. And it's very annoying. So now we're going down into the basement to see a wheelchair that's spinning, which is kind of interesting that it's still spinning. Take the picture. Sometimes it can be a little finicky. 3429 is our code. To get the picture, again, the most finicky thing is the generator in the sewer. That is the worst of them all. Also, we can go to the rooftop, but we don't need to. So we're going to go enter the code here, which is 34. There we go.
I don't remember which cutscene would have had Heather pulling out the pistol, because like the missionary one's obvious, and then like the final one in church, because she like pulls it out to point at Claudia both times. Like when the hell did like they switched it at the motel or something? It's weird.
Yeah. There we go, passing the nurses. Their bullets hurt if they shoot you. Also, I will admit that the nurses are scarier in Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill Origins than they are in this one. This one, they just do heavy breathing, and I'm like... And they also don't look that creepy in comparison to 2 and Origins. So here we go. We're running all the way to M mystery number, because the number's scratched out, so we don't know exactly which number this is. And then we have the
door wasn't there before.
Rusted hallway. With surprisingly, like, functioning gates, despite how rusted it is. I don't know the mechanics of rust. Yeah, which is kind of impressive for 2000. I think this game takes place in 2001. I think.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because there is the happy birthday song, which doesn't it claim that she's 31?
Yeah, there's that, what was that little dialogue? 14 plus 7 plus 7 plus whatever is 38?
Yeah, I've not experienced that dialogue because I don't know what room it's in, because I don't have to go to that room. And oh no.
Yeah, I'm not super knowledgeable about the super deep lore of these games, I will admit.
Yeah, I think in terms of timeline, and I'm sure I'll be corrected. Also, say hello to Mr. Core Strength. Why is he called Mr. Core Strength? One, because I didn't know his name at the time when I started running, but just look at him. His arms are too busy. His legs are not supported, so it's complete core strength keeping him afloat there. So it's like, haha. Also, supposedly that nurse is Lisa, but for some reason they gave her a green shoe here, despite the fact that she wears red shoes in Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill Origins. So I don't know if that was just an error on their part, or if that's just the community thinking way too hard. I don't know. But supposedly, Silent Hill Origins takes place in 1977. Silent Hill 1 takes place in 1984. because it's 7 years later. Silent Hill 2 apparently takes place in 1993, and then this game takes place in 2001, I think. I don't know when 4 takes place because I've never played 4. And I don't know when Homecoming takes place or Downpour, but I know that Silent Hill F is apparently taking place in the 60s because they told us that it was taking place in the 60s. So we're going to equip the perfume here because the perfume is going to be very useful to us in the amusement park. And that's just a good opportunity to equip it. So running away. Also, I know that Douglas is going to check out Leonard's home, but like, I don't see how that would take a lot of time. So I don't know exactly what he's doing at this moment.
Oh, he's raiding the fridge and taking a nap on the couch.
I guess so.
There's out here fighting for her life.
Yeah, and then somehow Douglas gets a broken leg and also is bleeding in the HD collection, and it's like, how are you not bleeding out at this point? Because there is a lot of blood in the HD version on him, and it's like, okay. So here we have Leonard, everyone's hated boss if he swims. He didn't swim. He swam on me every practice run. Unfortunately, I can't aim the SMG to save my life, so I just hit him with the shotgun because I just
Oh yeah, I feel that.
So I'll take the time loss on shooting him with the shotgun. Also, in the HD collection version, the hospital is so dark after you fight Leonard. It's almost impossible to see. So there we go. Claudia is now complaining to Vincent that, you know, we were sent to Leonard. And it's kind of like, well, you hated him, so I don't know why you're complaining. And it's just like, okay. By the way, what does that medallion do that she picks up? Because I don't know.
The seal!
I don't know what the seal does. Does it do something in higher difficulties, or is it just a thing?
No, you never actually use it. There's lore reasons why it's important, and it's something I'm not super knowledgeable about. God, I know I listened to Nub Zombie lay it all out once, and it was the whole thing.
Oh.
Just the way that, like, the different, like, I don't know what you call them, like, the points in town work for, like, summoning the other world. Like, in the first game, you go to, like, all the different points of town. And, like, I know that item's a part of it, but I forget how.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, does this actually serve a purpose later on in, like, a higher difficulty or something? Because that's the thing, right? In higher difficulties, as you would have seen in Tekkie's run earlier, like, there's actual puzzles and things that we would be doing, but in easy, there's, like, no puzzles.
Just blast through it. Yeah,
yes.
I think... Yeah, plot-wise, there's a reason why she's looking for it and why it's important, but they aren't, like, super clear in the cutscenes themselves. It's all, like, deeper in, like, the book lore, and it doesn't actually play out in-game.
Okay. So we're just running here. I don't know when the last possible moment to heal before she starts slowing down is, but I usually just wait for the second dog because there seems to be a lot of time that they give you to be able to run at max stamina here. So I don't think it really matters when you heal, just so long as you heal.
Yeah, if your health is already pretty high, then it should be pretty good.
There we go. Because we healed 3 times throughout Silent Hill. Also, everybody say hi to Robbie, who kind of became the mascot after this game, as he's featured in... I think he's in 4. I know he's in Homecoming. I don't know about Downpour. But I know
Probably
he's
a little cameo item or something.
There we go. Fast key. Let's go. Again, it's RNG how fast the key will drop.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to go into the details of how the key drop works, it's like way too much math. Geometry.
Also, the reason I equipped the perfume was for that closer. Also, the second you enter here is when they start getting their tilt-a-whirl attack, where they just swing their arms side to side. And if you don't equip the perfume, he kind of becomes a brick wall. And it's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, in my run, that's why I just ran out and did that shotgun pop-off.
And we're coming up on our favorite part of the game momentarily as she's about to... This is what you're supposed to do, by the way, in the dream sequence, is run along the roller coaster. But my question is, what is her plan here? We don't know if this thing has loop-de-loops or whatever, so if it did, and if she didn't get hit off of it, how would she get around this exactly?
Need a whole cutscene where she just climbs down onto the souvenir shop or whatever.
Perhaps. We're so glad you came. Please come inside and look around. When you feel you're ready, then go through the door. Trust me, I have heard this thing so many times that I can recite this without even listening to it. Because literally on New Game, you do have to sit through all of this, whereas Extra New Game, you can go through it all, except for the part where he said, I'm so sorry, this place is just falling apart, the mechanism was broken, you see, it wasn't supposed to stop there, I assure you. Then you can go through the door. I don't know why it's locked for till that specific point on Extra New Game, but it is.
Anyway, I'm lying. It's all just a joke.
Might as well have a sip of matcha tea while we wait.
Scare you, that's all.
This voice acting is so legendary.
Yes. Fun fact, it's different in HD Collection to the point where I thought it was voiced by the guy who does Sojiro from Persona 5. Sadly, it is not.
That's Danny.
Yeah, it's like they didn't even try to make it similar, which is probably for the best, but still, I don't know how you can't top this.
Indeed.
His hometown is New
But,
Orleans, but he
yeah.
came here after first.
You have to activate Danny, by the way, on New Game Extra for this to go. So,
Maybe you might know.
yeah.
Where is the path to heaven?
There we go.
This mansion is quite old, so I'm so sorry. This
Don't have to worry about the spikes.
falling apart.
Nope, you just
The
run.
mechanism is broken, you see.
It wasn't supposed to stop there.
I assure you. There's the exit. I hope you enjoy
Usually
your
it-
tour.
Usually in my runs, I'm quoting this whole thing throughout the entire time because I'm like, I have to sit here anyway.
Come and visit you.
You instead. And then we have the red light, which isn't as scary as it is. We're just gonna run as fast as we can. I have to give a shout out to Umbrella Jill because she actually helped me get this down really good because I was
Because your
watching her.
controls.
Not so much my controls, just trying to get the timing right to be able to make the turns.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time you do hit the wall if you keep just running. But you can get, with some practice, you can just keep running. I literally did spend like one day just doing that room for like an hour straight. So there we go. And then we're going to grab the chain, followed by the random red shoe that's just sitting here. I don't know why there's just a random red shoe sitting on an empty platform. There just is.
A MacGuffin.
Grab the ammo and our final health drink. We need a total of 6 health drinks if you're doing the health drink method. You can get away with 5. However, if you are entering the final boss fight at yellow health, you will need that 6th one. So it's just better to grab a 6th one than it is to kind of risk 5. So there we go, start machine. Also, fun fact, don't put the chain on the door handle. The game's like, what are you trying to do? It wants you to put it on the door, despite the fact that in the cutscene / after, it's on the door handle. So it's like, okay. This room can be kind of difficult on 2D controls because she likes to turn at points. But we've got the apple, or doll's head, that suspiciously looks like an apple, which is why you would give the doll head to Snow White. Again, there's a bit more puzzle to this room on higher difficulties. Like I said, there's almost no puzzles here. And then we're going to go fight our evil clone. Because of course we are. Because what game wouldn't be complete without an evil clone at some point? So here's the first major difference of true glitchless. In no QSQL, you would do something here to skip the startup. In this, however, you sit here and wait.
That's always when I'm messing around with the inventory, because you gotta do it at some point, and the timer's gonna run anyways, so.
There we go. Just lightly shooting all the horses. You know they're dealt with when they make a long, wincing sound, whinny, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a lot of experience with horses. I used to horseback ride when I was like a preteen, but haven't done that in years. I highly recommend it to people, though. It's an absolute joy. So here we go, waiting again. Again, true glitchless, you have to wait. Heather's just like, come on, start.
Heather's waiting pose.
And then we have the fight against Alessa. So, yay, a 2 cycle. Alright. Supposedly, staring at the center manipulates her spawn location somehow. I don't know how true that is, but I was told that at one point, and it seems to do something. I just don't know what. Alyssa, stop running. I need you to come
yeah,
here.
she was... She started running as soon as she spawned.
Yep. Also, you kind of want to not fight her next to a horse, because sometimes the horse can get in the way and not allow you to get a 2 cycle. There we go. And there we go, she's dealt with. Huzzah. All right. And then this is another hallway area where like 2D controls can kind of like mess things up. So you kind of want to mash through that door. Don't mash when running through this hallway, by the way, because you see how her head is turning towards those texts? She will read those texts. So it's like, please don't. I don't know if it pauses the timer if you do that. And then we have the door. Sometimes she'll just auto-turn away from the door for some reason. And then we've got to grab the 5 cards. I used to hit the confessional a lot in the beginning, and that's always fun. It's just like, why would you run in the complete opposite direction? Also, this is the other difference in true glitchless. We have to sit here and listen to this the entire time. This is... I do not like this ghost. This ghost was the bane of my existence for a period of 2 months, costing me PB after PB after PB. And yeah, she's not fun. And so in true glitchless, we just have to listen to her cry and walk. In no QSQL, we get to do a little bit of a trick And then in QSQL, you just quick save, quick load, and get to skip the whole ordeal. And I'm like, see, that's a joy. Except for every QSQL trick takes me about 2 hours to perform. And it's just kind of like, no, I don't want to spend 2 hours doing every trick. And there's only one I've been able to successfully do, and that's the sewer skip. So we grabbed the things. The reason I see Vincent first, by the way, is so that I can make sure that the flashlight's on. Because I learned the hard way that the flashlight is not on until you either turn it on yourself or you see Vincent. And if the flashlight's not on, she won't pick up the shotgun shells or anything. I lost a PB doing that once, and I got so tilted. And so now we're just going to grab a key, and then we're going to run. Also, the closers have changed. For some reason, they're all smoke gray Nintendo 64s now. Don't know why. I was almost about to do the QSQL strat here, and I would have been like, oh no. And again, just mash here because there's like no super indication that she's past the wall. I think there's like an audio cue or something, but I'm just gonna mash because it's simpler. And then we get the fool. Excellent. Also, I like how Valtiel is just laughing at this point, which makes me think he's done something to the ghost girl. Don't know what, but he has to have a reason for laughing here for some reason. I don't even know where he's hiding in that hallway.
It's just being a weird little guy.
Yep. Eventually he'll be crawling around, but that's upstairs. So here we go, elevator ride. Also, there's a fun thing that can happen here sometimes with this guy, because sometimes Heather will just run through the door and immediately just kick him. For no apparent reason. She's just like, take this, as she kicks him. So there he is right there crawling around. And here's the last bounce. I'm using that desk over there as a bouncing point because of the desk in the middle. That was the first bounce I developed, if you will, because I used to just... The camera goes a little wonky, plus I usually just hit the desk in the middle. So instead, I'll just take a little bit of a long... I actually don't know if there's any time difference between just walking straight and bouncing there. Why, thank you, Mr. Missionary, who's now just a regular enemy. Thank you so much for hitting me.
It's a rough angle. He was heading right towards the door.
And then here we go down the elevator. Also, the lovely thing about Silent Hill 3 is that you can skip elevator rides, which you can't do in Silent Hill 2 unless you do some shenanigans.
That's true.
I don't know why they made that decision to not allow elevators to be skipped.
Oh, that sound effect right here. I was mentioning that before, how like sometimes there's background sounds where like it won't let you into the next room until it finishes playing. Just a weird thing that you have to keep mindful of.
Yeah. And then here we go. Again, this is the easy code where it's Eye of Night in the middle, the moon top right, the High Priestess bottom right, and then the other two in there, the Hangman bottom left and the Fool top left. This is the worst hallway in the game. Pay no mind that I'm making this look easy. This hallway is such a pain because of how the camera behaves and how Heather's movement behaves on 2D controls. I absolutely despise it. Also, I wanted to see at one point what would happen if you ran right next to Claudia. She doesn't do anything. I used to think that she would do something, like she would like stab you or something, but no, she does nothing. And now it's time for God, who takes 14 shots. If there's no sparks, of course. which I think I got some sparks, so it might be a little bit more. Tekkie, while I am dealing with God here, would you like to tell the fine people where they can find you?
They can find me.
Yes, streams and whatnot.
Same username everywhere. I'm easy to find. I'm streaming on Twitch often. I tweet stupid stuff. That's mostly it.
So I might actually have to use that third heal because it only works as 2 heals if she dies in 14 shots. There we go, and that is time.
Yeah, no problemo.
Thank you so much for jumping on comms, Tekkie. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, thanks to Schmumbler for letting me know about this. And also, sorry that I'm sick, everybody. I mean, I'm almost through it, but, like, I do probably sound a little bit awful thanks to stuffy nose and whatnot. There are 3 endings to this game. One of them is not speedran because it's kind of a pain to do, and that's revenge ending. And the only difference is that Heather kills Douglas at the end because she's possessed. But, yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/Abby's Corner. I'm actually going to be right back with another run and whatnot. So stay tuned for that.
Of this different category, right? Same game?
Yep, same game, different category.
You don't have to call me that. I'm not
Yeah.
playing anymore.
Thank you both so much for being on. I know you're still going to be here, Abby, but it was a great run, so thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, it's been said, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the Silent Hill 3 run. We'll see you in a few minutes here.